All right, so we're back again, ready for another deep dive. And today we're parked right on the NBA hardwood.
Sounds good.
Yeah, and, the playoffs are getting closer and closer, so we gotta take a look at what's been going on in some of these recent games.
For sure, for sure.
See what we can learn, see what it means for these teams as we head towards the postseason. So we've got 5 big matchups on the docket today.
Okay.
We're going to break down all the action. We've got a really great report here with all the details.
Looking forward to it.
So are you ready to jump in?
I am definitely ready. Let's do it.
All right, let's go. First up, we've got the LA Clippers taking on the Dallas Mavericks out west. And this one wasn't exactly a nail-biter. The Clippers just completely dismantled the Mavs, 135 to 104.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive.
Yeah, definitely a statement win. When you see a margin like that, you really got to dig into how it happened. You know what I mean?
Right.
And looking at the report here, it seems like the Clippers were just firing on all cylinders offensively.
Yeah.
They had a really balanced attack. And, Kawhi Leonard, he did his thing, 20 points.
Solid.
Yeah, good, solid performance. But I think what really stands out is Ivica Zubac.
Oh, yeah.
He had a monster game, double-double, 14 points, 13 rebounds, that kind of interior presence.
Huge.
Yeah, it can really make a difference.
Absolutely. And, on the other side of the court, the Mavericks were really struggling.
Yeah.
I mean, they were missing both Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving. Yeah. So not a huge surprise there. But still, they shot a dismal 20% from three-point range.
Oof, that's rough.
You're not going to win many games shooting like that no matter who's on the court.
It's tough. Yeah, and, when you're missing your primary ball handlers like Doncic and Irving,
right,
it just has a ripple effect on the whole offense. The spacing is off, the playmaking suffers, the quality of shots just goes down.
It's tough to recover from that.
For sure.
So big picture-wise, this win feels pretty important for the Clippers, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. They're trying to secure that top 6 seed in the West,
right?
Avoid the play-in tournament, and, for a team with championship aspirations,
sure,
that's crucial. It's crucial for saving energy, controlling their playoff destiny, and sending a message to the rest of the conference.
Yeah, I mean, they're looking like a real threat.
They are, for sure.
Right.
And, for the Mavericks, this loss kind of highlights how much they rely on Doncic and Irving.
Yeah.
To be successful, they're going to need those guys healthy and playing well if they want to make a deep playoff run.
All right, so let's switch gears now. Head over to the East. We got the Milwaukee Bucks going up against the Miami Heat, and this one was a much closer affair.
Oh, yeah.
The Bucks edged out the Heat in overtime, 121 to 115.
Those overtime games are always so intense.
It really felt like a playoff atmosphere.
Right.
Every possession matters.
Yeah, those are the kinds of games that really test a team's resilience and their ability to execute under pressure.
Absolutely. And speaking of pressure, Giannis Antetokounmpo, he delivered another incredible performance.
Unbelievable.
Triple-double, 36 points, 15 rebounds, 10 assists.
Wow.
And get this, it was his second consecutive triple-double.
He's on another level.
He is absolutely dominant.
It's incredible to watch. Just that level of consistent all-around excellence is just remarkable.
It really is. And, another thing that stood out to me in this game was Kevin Porter Jr. coming off the bench.
Yeah.
He had a huge game, 24 points, including the game-winning layup in overtime.
Yeah, he was clutch.
Talk about stepping up in a big moment.
Those are the kinds of contributions that can really swing a series.
Absolutely. And it's not just about the points. It's the confidence boost it gives the whole team.
Exactly. When a role player like that steps up and delivers in crunch time, it just licks everyone up.
It's contagious. And, we also got to give credit to Bam Adebayo for the Heat.
Oh, for sure.
He had a great game, too. 31 points, 12 rebounds. So even though they lost, they can take some positives away from that.
For sure. Even in a loss, those individual performances can be encouraging.
Yeah. All right. So for the Bucks, this win obviously helps solidify their position near the top of the East.
Right.
They're proving they can win those close games.
Yeah.
And for the Heat, they're still fighting for a spot in that play-in tournament,
Right. Those play-in games are no joke.
For anyone who needs a refresher, that's where the 7th through 10th place teams in each conference battle it out for the final 2 playoff spots.
It's a whole other level of intensity.
It really is. All right, let's head back out west now. And the Minnesota Timberwolves, they're on a roll.
They are.
They just picked up their 5th straight win, this time against the Philadelphia 76ers, 114 to 109.
That's impressive.
Yeah, they're really hitting their stride at the right time.
They are looking dangerous for sure, and looking at the report here, Anthony Edwards, he continues to shine.
Yeah.
He led the way with 32 points, including the game-winning three-pointer. Yeah, that's the kind of star power you need in the playoffs, someone who can take over when the game is on the line.
Absolutely. And Rudy Gobert, he was a beast on the boards, 19 rebounds.
Wow.
And he added 21 points as well.
That's a big night.
Yeah. I mean, his impact on both ends of the court is huge. You know, his rebounding, his scoring around the basket, it just gives them so much.
It does. It really controls the game. And the report mentions that the 76ers, they put up a good fight.
Yes.
Despite being shorthanded and dealing with a losing streak.
Right.
So they're not giving up. They're still battling.
Yeah. But for the Timberwolves, this win keeps them right in the hunt for that top 6 seed.
Right.
They're looking good to avoid the play-in.
It's huge. In a conference as competitive as the West, securing that top 6 spot
Absolutely.
guarantees a direct path to the playoffs and potentially home court advantage in the first round.
Yeah, that's a big deal. So they got to be feeling really confident right now.
Yeah, for sure. Their momentum is building. All right, now let's shift gears down to Memphis, where the Grizzlies pulled off a 109-103 victory over the Detroit Pistons.
And they did it without Ja Morant, their star guard.
Interesting.
Yeah, this win really shows their depth and their resilience.
Right. It's impressive to see them pull out a win like that without their main guy.
Exactly. And Desmond Bane, he really stepped up big time.
Yeah.
38 points, including a crucial three-pointer late in the game.
He's feeling it.
He was on fire. And Jaren Jackson Jr., he also had a big impact. 27 points, 11 rebounds.
Yeah, they've got some serious talent on that team.
They do. And, the report also mentions Cade Cunningham. He had a strong return for the Pistons.
Okay.
25 points, 9 rebounds.
Good to see him back.
It is.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't enough to overcome the Grizzlies,
Right.
who really showed their ability to close out a game even under pressure.
Yeah, that experience, that mental toughness, it's invaluable
Yeah.
in the playoffs.
For sure. All right, last but not least, we've got the New York Knicks taking down the Atlanta Hawks.
Okay.
121-105.
Another big win.
Yeah, they had a really strong offensive showing. And
Yeah.
I'm looking at the report here, and something seems a little off. It says Karl Anthony Towns led the Knicks in scoring with 30 points and 11 rebounds.
Hmm.
And it goes on to mention OG Anunoby and McCall Bridges with 24 and 20 points respectively.
Okay.
Now, I'm pretty sure Karl Anthony Towns plays for the Timberwolves, not the Knicks.
Yeah, you're right.
So it seems like our source might have mixed things up a bit there.
Happens sometimes.
It does. But the key takeaway here is that the Knicks did have a very strong offensive performance.
Right.
It looks like Anunoby and Bridges were the leading scorers, and their three-point shooting was a major factor in the win.
Yeah, that's the important part. They were hitting their shots.
They were. And, despite Trae Young having another great game for the Hawks, setting a team record for assists in a season, it wasn't enough to get them the win.
Right.
So the report says this victory solidifies the Knicks' third place standing in the East,
Yeah, they're looking good.
while the Hawks are still fighting for a play-in spot.
That East playoff race is tight.
It is. So looking back at all 5 of these games, are there any big themes or trends that stand out to you?
Yeah, I think there are a few things. We're seeing teams really prioritize offense as we get closer to the playoffs.
Okay.
A lot of high-scoring games, clutch individual performances are becoming even more crucial.
Yeah.
Those game-winning shots, those momentum-shifting plays.
Right.
And we're also seeing how important player availability is. Some teams are struggling without their key guys, while others are showing impressive depth.
Makes sense.
And of course, the playoff races in both conferences are really heating up.
Yeah.
Every game matters now for seeding and avoiding that play-in.
It's getting intense.
Yeah.
So we're really starting to see who the contenders are and who's still fighting for their playoff lives. These games give us a really interesting glimpse into the current NBA landscape.
Yeah, it's like a dress rehearsal for the playoffs,
Like that.
Teams are experimenting with lineups, testing strategies, seeing how their players perform under pressure.
Right.
These games are valuable learning experiences, whether they win or lose.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, here's something I want you to think about.
Okay.
With all these amazing performances, we've seen the clutch shots, the resilience across these 5 games. Which team are you most intrigued by right now?
That's a tough one.
It is a tough one.
Yeah.
But as we head into the playoffs, whose current form or overall trajectory has you most excited?
I'll have to give that some thought.
It's something to ponder as the postseason picture continues to develop.
Definitely.
So that's all the time we have for today's deep dive. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time for another insightful look at the world around us.
See ya.
Take care.